How's it going? Jacob Dewitty, jacobdewitty.com, here to make music with purpose and take your songs from idea to reality. I sorted through hundreds of plugins, and just like me, you're probably tired of wasting your money on unnecessary plugins. So today, I'm going to share the free ones that I love and use. I created a document that lists all the legit download links, VSTs, instruments, sounds, mixing plugins, mastering plugins, you name it. So go ahead and cop that down in the description. We're all busy, so I'll organize them in a document, hopefully to help you out, save you some time. For some credibility, I have used these on a lot of my paid client projects, so you know they get the job done. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Basically, I'll go down this list, and once you download the document, you'll be able to get any of these links that you want, and just download the ones that you like. So, we'll start with the instruments. So, Spitfire Labs first. This is a whole bunch of instruments, so basically you download Spitfire Audio. You've got all these from pianos, guitars, swells, choirs, strings, you name it. My favorite one is this soft piano right here. Really sounds amazing. It sounds like a real piano, basically. The next one is Keys on Classic. That's the next piano I really use. So if I want like a soft chorus, I'm going to use the Labs. And then if I want a normal piano, I'm going to use the Keys on Classic. So this has a few options. We open this right here. Got Yamaha Grand Piano. Then you've got other ones like Steinway, Basic Electric. So, yeah, just basic pianos. And yeah, if you're just looking for a good piano, that's that one. You've got Keys of the 70s. That's like a Rhodes. Really good for like ambience and stuff like that. So I'll go ahead and play a little progression with it. So yeah, really simple. Those are my main favorite like keys kind of plugins. Then we have over here, we'll go down to basic guitar. So it's really hard to find good basic guitar VSTs that sound realistic. And so these are my favorite. This is my favorite one right here, just ample. So basically, it sounds just like a real bass. And a lot of times, I'll EQ a lot of the top end out, and it'll sound really good. And then of course, you know, turn up the effects a lot. But that one's my favorite one right there for bass. Next we have MT Power Drum Kit. So basically, I can hook this up to MIDI, I can hook up to an electric kit, and it sounds like a real kit. Of course, it'll need compression, it'll need all the things, like always. You know, even if you record something with a really good mic, you're going to add some effects. So, but these are, I'm just showing you the raw plugins. So, of course, it sounds really good once you add all the effects and stuff like that. Next, of course, all these sounds. Right now I have Splice, but at first I was using Cymatics, which basically Cymatics has a bunch of sample packs for free with a bunch of downs, which is a bunch of really good sounds. So Cymatics is definitely a good free option for sounds. And of course, Splice, like $9.99 or something. We got Vital. So sound design. Sound design is great. You can design any sound you want. It's just how it sounds. So I'll go ahead and show you that. So I did buy Serum. So a lot of like EDM producers and stuff like that, they'll sound design their songs. So basically you've got Serum is a really good paid one, and then Vital is the free version of that. Works almost as good. So we've got Vital. Basically, you can start with, you can save presets. You can start with initializing it just blank. We've got a bunch of presets there, and then you can just sound design. If you want to start with the sine wave, and then layer stuff on top of that, you can add effects. You can play with the LFOs and the attack and all that kind of stuff. So once you really learn how to use this, it becomes perfect. You can design any sound that you hear or that you want to make. So that's perfect for sound design. Next, we get into mixing. This is my favorite compressor right here, TDR. This one has been my go-to since I started producing pretty much. So as you can see, pretty basic. We've got presets, but of course, mainly threshold, all that kind of stuff. Works really well. Then we've got TDR de-esser, which is also an EQ. So we can use it as a de-esser, which basically takes all the S's out of your vocals. Not all of them, but you can kind of play with it, you know. So you got a de-esser split and linked, and you can also just use it as an EQ. So that's a really good one right there. Then we've got saturation. So saturation basically adds thickness to your track. One time with the client, I sent one version without saturation and one with, and he said the one with sounds a lot better. But really all I did was take this little saturation knob right here. You want to guess what I did? Put up a little bit of saturation. And so this one is really good. And then we also have M Saturator. So basically, this is from Melda Production. Basically, you can download a whole suite of plugins. So if you go over here, I'll go ahead and go to more plugins, and you'll see it has like every kind of plugin known to man. Auto, analyzer, pitch, everything. So if you're just looking to start and just want to download like one huge thing, Melda Production is your guy. Or a bit, I don't know. I don't know how to say it, but you know what I'm saying. All right. So now we move on to reverb and delay. So Valhalla Supermassive, really cool effects on there. Let's go to reverb and delay. As you can see, it's really simple. You got delay, the feedback and everything. But the presets are really cool. All these things, a lot to explain, but basically you'll figure it out. You can see the modes kind of change how the delay is and how the reverb is. And then there's presets, everything, reverb, small, medium, etc. So it's just a really fun one to play with, especially if you want like super big like reverb and delay. Perfect. We can move on to effects. So bittersweet. This one is exactly how it sounds. It'll make it sound sweet or bitter, and you can change like the fast and the slow. And I'll let you download this plugin and see how it sounds for yourself. You've got some distortion with Camel Crusher. So if you just want to destroy one of your like basses or like make it super distorted, you can use this. And of course you can dial it back a little bit if you want. Then we've got vinyl. So if you hear on like lo-fi tracks and stuff, there's like vinyl and pop and stuff going back in the background, but it kind of sounds good. So with here, you can add some mechanical noise, you can add some dust, you can change the warp. So a lot of lo-fi songs use this, sometimes R&B, stuff like that. It's a pretty cool one. Wider, this is like stereo separation. So basically, if you want to take a track, it even goes to 200%. So this is a really good, really fun one actually. So you've got wider, then we move on to the mastering. So of course these are going to be analysis plugins. So you just put them on the master. Usually on loudness meter, that's number one. You can see LUFS, you can see the peaks. When you're going to export something to Spotify or something like that, generally they usually measure it in like LUFS and not dBs. So you can go ahead and analyze that here, the peak and everything like that. Basically, if you want to see how everything's balanced in terms of frequency, you can go ahead and see that here. So you can see, since I just have Rhodes, it's just going to show this. And then if you're mastering and it's like this and everything's low, you can kind of tell, oh, maybe I need to boost the highs or the lows, you know? So that's a really good one. Those are the main two I've always used. And most producers use those, span and ULA and loudness meter. And yeah, so there's some hardware simulation plugins. So if you don't want to buy some hardware, but you want to get that sound, Acustica Audio, at Aquarius, all that kind of stuff. Melda Production Bundle, that's the one I mentioned. That has pretty much everything. Cymatics, get all the sounds that you want. Some of the played ones I use are Splice. That's how I get all my samples and sounds. Serum, which is pretty much an upgraded version of Vital. And then you have, of course, gotta have Antares Auto-Tune. I use FL Studio, Pro Tools. I've also used Studio One, Cubase, etc. But my favorites are FL and Pro Tools. So make sure you go and grab that document down below. Download some free plugins. If you want some free samples or beats from me, you can go ahead and support us on Patreon. Get those free beats and sample packs sent to you. You can also see my videos early. Any support that you show goes a long way on Patreon. You can also get services and all the usual. So if you like this video, make sure you watch this next, and I'll see you there.